Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I find it interesting, to say the least, that the Western mass media here in obviously the free world don't cover protests against the government related to the energy prices in Europe and their standard of living decreasing. If they do, I don't see them as I would see, for instance, some protests against, I don't know, big business or environment. I mean, pro-environment. Probably you are aware that there are a few countries in Europe where its citizens protest almost every day against this issue of energy prices, inflation, and possibly and probably sanctions, because in some countries they mention directly the sanctions to Russia to be lifted. That's I think Czech Republic and Slovakia. But there's a country where I think the protests are every day, and there is the Republic of Moldova, and its capital is Chisinau. And I think it's been almost 2 months since the protesters over there are in the streets, and they ask for the government to resign and to I don't know exactly what to do, because that country is in bad shape, not only because the current situation, but they've been in how should I put it, state of scarcity for some time. So this article comes from Sputnik, and it's from today, October 30th, 2022. Protesters hold rally against energy policies in Chisinau, Moldova. Protesters have been hitting the East European country over the past weeks, since Moldova is suffering from soaring gas prices and inflation. Some are demanding resignation of President Maia Sandu and early elections. Sputnik is live from the Moldovan capital Chisinau, where demonstrators are staging a rally against President Maia Sandu's government and criticizing her energy policies, as Europe's fuel crisis hasn't spared the nation of fewer than 2.6 million people. Moldovans have been organizing rallies in Chisinau in recent months that you probably never heard of, with thousands hitting the streets and clashing with police, as the opposition demands the resolution of the energy issue through the negotiation of deliveries with Russia. I don't know, for my friends who might not be familiar with Moldova. Moldova is a little country, used to be part of Greater Moldova. Half of Moldova, more than half, is part of its motherland, which is Romania. And it's called the whole thing, it's Moldova, and this is Bessarabia, a little part. Now this part, Moldova, the Republic of Moldova, was acquired by Soviet Union through an ultimatum issued by the Gruzin, the Georgian Stalin, Joseph Stalin, yes, that's Stalin, to the Romanian government in 1940, as they were reshuffling the spheres of influence in Europe. The Romanian government gave it to Stalin, and then Stalin created the little republic of Soviet Socialist Republic of Moldova. But in the meantime, he cut the southern part of Moldova and gave it to Ukraine. So, and there were some other territories taken. But so that's how Moldova became a little country within a republic within the Soviet Union after the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991. Instead of returning to the motherland, which is Romania, to the other half or 2/3 of Moldova, it was decided that it would stay independent as a country somehow. So since then it's been struggling with poverty and corruption, and nothing else is produced over there but wine. good wine. I don't know of any industry over there aside from alcohol and human trafficking. When I talk about human trafficking, I'm talking about young girls and women. Therefore, they do not have much resources as far as I know, and they depend on the neighbors. Now, Moldova is between, in the west, Romania, the other 2/3 of Moldova. In the east, it has a little strip of Transnistria, which is a little strip that was separatist with the help of Russia. There are a lot of Russians living in, and Ukrainians and Tatars and other nationalities in Moldova for various reasons. Some of them were over there since a long time ago when they came over, and then some of them were just forcefully brought in by Stalin's policies. He did what these guys are trying to do over here. Diversity is our strength, but our means the leader's strength. Why? Because you can't stay really united, because they expect us to think and behave the same and all that. So they shuffle things, so that's no national identity among the Soviet people. So they brought Russians over there, they took Moldovians and sent them somewhere else. That's how they did. And you work over there, you work over there, the whole families. So this is with Moldova. Moldova has a big Russian and Ukrainian population, and then you have, even if they're not recognized politically, but they're not by the name, they are, inclined to be towards Russia. Some of them towards Europe. It depends who has the influence, money, and whistles paid. So when you hear and you see these protests here in Moldova, it doesn't necessarily that they are related to the real issue of poverty and hiking energy prices and inflation. A lot of it on the foundation of this kind of unhappiness, of unhappiness of the Moldovan, or I don't know how to call those guys living over there, because some of them say I'm Moldovan, but for me Moldovan means Romanian. So it's kind of like, I will call them citizens of Moldova. Some of them simply don't want to be with the other guys. And if I were in their situation as the leader of that country, I would try to, first and foremost, make sure that my fellow citizens who voted for me and put me in this office to represent them will get their best of what they deserve, which is a better standard of living. And I would try to make deals as much as I can with any country, because after all, there's no war between Moldova and Russia, or Moldova or anybody else. So in order to shoot yourself in the foot because of other countries' interest from across the sea, across the Atlantic in this case, I think it could be criminal. Because you're not over there to defend those people's interests, and not people like the citizens of those countries, which they benefit from having certain policy implemented by their governments. But just the government and their interest, you do their bidding. So here Maya Sandu is all of a sudden supported and promised to become a servant state, vassal state in the European Union, and they are very ecstatic about it. Then again, the Moldovans are promised to join NATO servitude, go into the NATO servitude soon. So everybody is somehow ecstatic about it, because without belonging to those entities, then you can't survive. It seems like this is the alternative: you die, or you are joining these alliances. One gets you militarily under its mastership, and the other one, or under its domination, and then the other one is an economic one, where they're gonna get you and they're gonna use your whatever you have. I don't know what Moldova has, but besides cheap labor and an area that is good strategically. it's positive, it's benefiting Europe strategically. That would be it. Other than that, you bring in a country that's going to be a consumer and a person who's going to be asking for loans each and every day. So your guys with your financial system will work just fine. And in the meantime, destroy the nation states and have them all merge into something that is called consumer, with no identity other than the one that you want to create. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.